Hello everybody and Happy New Year's! Welcome to the new year. My name is Sarah, your English teacher for today, and you're watching Eigo Love English. Today we'll be talking about the two words all and whole. These words are often misused by those who are learning English, and though it's a small mistake that can easily be corrected with a little bit of practice, to a native speaker, it can sound like you're a beginner in learning English. So let's begin learning the correct ways to use all and whole. The most important thing to know about all and whole is where to place the particle the. The structure will always be all the blank and the whole blank. When you use all, you're referring to everything. One entire thing. When you use the word whole, you're talking about a complete something, a complete group, a complete pizza. So what you're talking about may have several pieces inside, but you're talking about all of it together, the collection. When talking about time, saying all the time and the whole time are very different. They have different meanings. So say you go on a trip with your family and you guys bring the family dog. You're in the car for 2 hours on this car trip and your dog is barking because he doesn't like being in the car. Say every 20 minutes or so he barks for 5 or 10 minutes and he keeps barking every once in a while. You would say, "My dog barked all of the time." Now, if you were on the road trip and your dog was barking every second you were in the car, non-stop the whole 2 hours your dog was barking, then you would say, "My dog was barking the whole time." All the time means it felt like your dog was barking for the entire car trip, even though he wasn't. It was really annoying and he kept barking on and off, but it felt like he was barking the entire trip. Saying the whole time means your dog barked the entire time. The entire trip, your dog did not stop barking once. This is the main difference between all and whole. If you say, "I studied all day," this means you studied as your main activity. Maybe you took a break and went to go get lunch, or you made a quick shopping trip. Maybe you talked to your friends for a little bit, but you studied on and off. The main thing you did was study, so you studied all day. Now, if you said, "I studied the whole day," this means that you were studying without a break the entire day. All you were doing was sitting at your desk and studying. That's another good way to view all and whole. When talking about possessive adjectives, the structure between all and whole is different. Look at these sentences. "All my pencils spilled on the floor," and "my whole pencil bag spilled on the floor." My, the possessive adjective, comes after all but before whole. So I can say all my pencils fell on the floor, talking about every individual, the entirety of my pencils. But when you use whole, remember you're talking about groups, collections of things. So you say my whole pencil bag or bag. Bag is talking about the complete group. My entire pencil bag, my whole pencil bag fell on the floor. The meaning here is basically the same, but using all stresses the individual, while using whole stresses the group. Sometimes you can use these words in the same sentence structure, but they have different meanings. Look at the sentences below. All buildings were destroyed, and whole buildings were destroyed. Let's say there was an earthquake, and the earthquake was so big that the entire city was destroyed. Every single building fell down. In that case, all buildings were destroyed. But if I say whole buildings were destroyed, the meaning is different. All buildings means every single building was destroyed. There's no more buildings left. But whole buildings means some of the buildings were completely destroyed. A few buildings were knocked down and destroyed by the earthquake, but there are still some buildings that are okay. Again, all is talking about everything, all the buildings. Whole is talking about groups of things, so entire buildings, some of them were destroyed. When talking about non-countable nouns like air or money or time or sand, you would use all, not whole. All the money I have. All the water in the ocean. You cannot say whole the money or whole the water because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because they are uncountable. There is no group or entirety of them. And to use whole, you have to be talking about groups. Some of you might ask, why don't you say all of the money or all of the water? And that's because it's not necessary. The only time you need to use of is when you're using an object pronoun. All of it, all of them, all of us. Otherwise, of is just a useless filler word that's not needed when talking about all. You would not use of when talking about whole either. I would say the whole package, not the whole of the package. That does not sound very natural at all. The last important difference between all and whole is when talking about plural and singular. Look at these sentences. All students need to attend. The whole class needs to attend. With all and a plural noun, students, you need to use the matching verb need without an S. But with whole, because it's one group, one entirety of something, a singular noun, you use needs with an S. So plural does not use an S for the verb, and singular does use an S for the verb. That was today's lesson on the differences between all and whole. I hope you found it helpful, and if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share for more English learning content. Thank you for watching Eigo Love English, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!